Peace, family. So I'm back with another one. Today what I wanted to do is I wanted to talk to my chosen ones about stop giving people so much access to you. You have to stop allowing so much access to you. And what kind of dove me into the subject today was just kind of processing and thinking about time traveling to when I was younger, when a lot of us was younger that is 37 or older. You know, we didn't have as much technology in the use of the people's hands. We had technology, but it just wasn't in the people's hands. It was in the people's hands with the big bag, you know. So processing and thinking about these things, right? When I was younger, or when we was all younger, and at a different day and age, early 90s, mid 90s, when people would leave out of the house, once you are out into the real world, people didn't have access to you again until you reached out to them via payphone or until you made it back home to get to a landline. But outside of that, you didn't have a bunch of people and a bunch of things affecting your energy and interrupting your thought process and interrupting whatever you're engaging in at the time. So think about it like this. Say you're a mechanic and you're working on a car, right? Usually in the 90s when you leave the house to work on a car, you can focus and lock in unless you have other things in your spirit world like we all normally do, but you won't have a little iRobot, you know, right there in your pocket with you. So if you don't have your phone with you when you out working and you're out in the real world, then you got less beings accessing you, and then you have less things distracting you. Because your notifications can go off from Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, any of these things, and it not be an actual being. It could just be the bot just trying to get your attention to say, hey, you got a notification. I want to get your dopamine going again, you know, so here, come into this app. Well, that's the same place we are kind of in today's age where it's just too easy to access us. So you got to think about it like this. The easier we make it for us to access our friends and peers, the easier it is for them to access us, which means it's even easier for the system to access us. So for me, not growing up with technology, I know that anything I post on the internet is automatically going to a third party. Doesn't matter if I signed agreements, rights, terms, or any of those things, you know, that is still going to transfer in that space. So just get into a space of understanding, like, we're in a new day and age right now, so you're not always gonna want people to access you the same way. You don't always want to access people the same way. So as you start getting older and you see that society isn't really getting, it's not really flowing in a more righteous direction, but it's not getting as worse as it could be, you know, because it is a lot of us out here fighting against it. That's just the facts. So in understanding these things to that degree, right, then you'll realize, okay, well, just because I vibe with this one person right here, you know, and we exchange numbers, don't mean that I gotta follow them or they gotta follow me on Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, and Twitter, you know. Or just because you follow one being on Instagram don't mean that you gotta follow them on all their other platforms, especially if you already have a lot of engagements with this being already. Because when social media first came out, I know a lot of us would tend to make a Facebook friend. If you engage with them or you cool with them or you're friends with them in real lifetime, you tend to go follow them on Instagram as well too. And then most likely you probably got them on your Snapchat as well too, you know. So all of these, as much as we can access the world can access us too. So you have to get to a better space of understanding all beings should not have the same access to you. So like I can be on better terms with my being for me spiritually, but I already understand the battle she has going on within her, but that's still the mother of my child. So for me, I still have to figure out ways to be mature and manage the whole relationship. And as far as men, you know, that's our job with the structure. It doesn't matter how demonic or witchy it is, you know. You don't have to be in it full time to still have to manage it because you signed up. I signed up. I'm a full, well-aware, accountable being, you know what I mean? So I say that to say, like, I have access to my BM, you know, I got her phone number and stuff, but I don't have to follow her. I'm not following her on none of her social medias, you know. She's not following me on none of my social medias. Even the last being that I dealt with, like, I didn't follow them on their social medias. If they wanted to follow me on their social medias because they wanted to help and support, that's different, because sometimes you want to tag people and post. And with Instagram, sometimes it just make it smoother if y'all already following each other, because then people will see, okay, these people are already engaged, and it just shows more of a connection in the digital realm. But a lot of the times, you know, when you are following people and you give them all this access of you, say you don't respond to a text message or something, you know what I mean, and then you post on one of your social medias. Now, because you didn't respond to them first and you're on your social media engaging, they can kind of tell where you put them at in your world. They can kind of tell what your relationship and your engagements are in the world. So then that kind of hurts people's feelings to a small degree, especially people who don't understand their energy and emotion, you know. So, and I'm guilty of that too, you know, but I only do that with beings who I don't put the same value on. So if I put a lot of value on you, then you will never be one of them beings that I kind of ignore the text message or ignore the social media DM or message or something, and then I post on my medias as if, you know, you was non-important or irrelevant. For me, it's always been a thing of just letting people know that you are seen, you are felt, you are heard. Outside of the witchy motherfuckers who be trying to control my energy, then I want to let you know that whatever you're doing, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. But outside of that, I want people to feel felt and heard, you know. We all had our own traumas and things growing up. And I know for me, I had to experience a lot of neglect. You know, my mom had my sister, who was 4 years older than me. She had my sister at 14. And she had me at 18, 19, you know. So she was already on her second one, under 20, and she didn't have any structure, you know. She didn't have no structure. A lot of women lose structure when the man is out the house, if they don't have daddy there, or if daddy's physically there but emotionally not there. But if he's still there, he still creates some kind of structure. The only thing is you're gonna have the witchy structure, and then you're gonna have the healthy structure, but it's always some kind of structure there, you know what I mean? But just get into a space of understanding, like, these robots is with us everywhere. You have to be mindful of where you take yours to with you. So, like, say I go to the park with my daughter, I'll keep my phone in the car, just because I don't want anybody else having that kind of access to me while I'm not in the car or near my robot. So between the car and the park, I should be able to engage solely with my mini and my thought process without needing the technology. So when you allow people all this access to you, some days you may be at work, you know, just trying to figure things out in your inner space, and then somebody shoots you some witchy energy, or somebody says something to tweak your energy, or you get on social media and you see something that, you know, you kind of excited for somebody else, but you wishing it was you. So then you kind of got that whole little weird and the end thing side going on. So it's like, for me, if I don't want to experience those things, I minimize them. You know, I am a spiritual being having a human experience, so I'm aware of when I get into those spaces to where I may find myself scrolling on the media. But usually if I do find myself scrolling on the media, I'm looking for some ideas. So like the way my robot reads me, it starts putting like credit builder reports in my face, like as far as the advertisements. It'll start putting like ways to make passive income like in my advertisements. So for me, when I stroll through, my robot is reading me as well. So it's trying to, when I'm focused on the bag, it's going to send me bag ideas. When I'm on my spiritual knowledge and content, like what I give you guys, they hide that information from me. So for me, it's really just the finances that start pushing through to me that sparks different ideas and different ways to kind of organize credit, finances, all that shit that we wasn't taught, that we have to mess it up in order to get it right. You know what I'm saying? You gotta trick some money off in order to realize that you just been throwing dollars away. But I say all that to say, like, stop allowing people all the same access to you. If you get up and you start your day and you know it's hard for you when you get back to this realm, because a lot of us don't realize, like, when you sleep, you're not in this realm anymore. You're gone. So when you come back to this vessel and you're back in this realm, everything that comes with this realm and that you created, it formulates back in your inner space. So now, if you don't have it organized, it piles on you. So then you gotta figure out a way to build through your frustrations and everything that you have going on the inside, so that way you can get your day rolling. So that's why it's always big for people to get their AM routines together, because it's like waking up in prison. When I was in prison, I woke up in prison. It was physical prison. Like, oh shit, I'm here. I got about 5-10 minutes, just be like, I'm in here. And then I gotta go through my day because I'm still in here. I had 3 calendars to go through. You know what I'm saying? Not 3 months, 3 calendars. That is completely different feeling when you know you gotta finish out this month, the next month, the next month, the next month, and then you gotta finish out this whole calendar. Then you gotta X off the whole next. It's a different process, you know? But we still go through the process spiritually out here in Western society, where we are in this kind of weird spiritual bind to where you feel like you ain't in prison because you can go do what they tell you to do, and then you can have access to other things which are still kind of limited to a small degree, you know. But for me, just growing in this space out here, you know, I just realized, like, sometimes when I start my day, I have to keep my phone on silent, or I keep my phone down, you know, especially when I'm going out and I'm in spaces like this, to where I don't want my energy affected by people reaching out to me or engaging with other people. You have to realize, like, when you are working on something and you are solely focused and you're trying to concentrate on it, it becomes a little frustrating if it get yanks out your hand. So that's kind of like me talking right here, and then all of a sudden we get a hard gust of wind before I could grab the camera, which I'm fast enough to grab it. But if I wasn't fast enough to grab the camera and it just blows out the way, yes, that would be a little frustrating in the process, you know? So it's just being aware of all these things that do affect our energy in a society where we are constantly trying to evolve and be a better version of ourselves. I couldn't be a better version of myself if I wasn't constantly looking at myself and reflecting and seeing how is these other beings' energy affecting me, you know? And what am I not doing properly outside of learning that I was supposed to be a man later in life and all these things that I was supposed to do, and what people was saying, calling me a dick in my whole life growing up. Really, I was just formulating into a masculine male. I just needed some more guidance and direction in the process, which we have technology in order to find it now. You know what I mean? So it's not a whole lot of excuses no more. We just gotta find ways to enjoy the daily grind and the daily process. So that's why I had set a little whiteboard up for my daughter, and I was showing her self-discipline, and then I did self-reward right under it. So it's kind of like a double whammy, you know? You get up, I'll help you make your bed for the first couple days or first week or so, and then I want you to start knocking out the way. And then you set yourself a reward for after you make your bed, you know? Because I know you don't want to do it, but if you set a reward that's more fulfilling and it feels better when you're done, then that's going to help you be more willing to knock these simple steps or these hard steps out the way that you got to take throughout the day. You know, it's a daily process, it's a daily grind. We are daily growing, so we need to be working on daily methods in order to maintain our energy the best way possible and to be able to master it without everybody being able to affect our energy the same way. You know, you're not taught these things, so you have to learn them on top of you already being programmed, and then removing programs, and then still dealing with your energy and emotion while you're engaging out here with real life beings, you know? On top of that, this being a spiritual battle, because we are not living organically no more. Some of us are trying to, but we are not projecting who we are on the inside outwardly 100%. Some of us are, most of us are not. It's a lot of complacent beings, but just be mindful of the access you allow beings. Don't feel bad or guilty, you know, if you don't want to add somebody on Snapchat because you got them on Facebook. Don't feel bad if you don't want to add somebody on none of your social medias because you got their phone number. You know, you have to start figuring out where to set your limits at so people don't have as much access to you. You know, because Because I done had days where I was out doing things and I was extremely productive, in a good mood, and then just a weird message came through because somebody else was in a weird funky vibe and they was allowed to access me this way, and it didn't tweak my entire day, but it did affect me to the point to where I saw it, I noticed it, it was like, let me. But yes, we have to make sure that they do not have that access to us. And once you start getting these things down, it's going to help things flow a lot smoother with just being able to maintain and master your own energy. It's kind of hard to focus the way you want to focus when you got all these bills compiling, you got work. It's like you trying to be on your purpose and figure things out. And then you got people who just want to tweak your energy because they can, you know what I'm saying? So just be mindful of these things, You don't have to allow everybody the same access to you. And understand, we got these little robots with us, and you got to be mindful of these little robots with us, because even if we can replace people, you still got the AI who is still sending you notifications and trying to get you to look at your emails and pick up every other social media that you got on your phone, you know what I mean? But I ain't want to run it up too long. Tapping everything down below. Peace and love to the kings and queens.